record this. So it should be recording, right? Okay, perfect. So first of all, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us, joining this call this morning. Before we get started on today's topic and just masterminding, I really want to do a couple things. We're going to have probably the West region, some of their leaders jump on this call as well. So just so you know, if you see some unfamiliar names that are going to be on this call, that's why the West region 5 to 14 stars are going to be on this call. So welcome. Listen, thanks so much for taking your time this morning to be a part of the call. Before we get into today's topic, I wanted to review, a lot of you were on the call last week. And one of the things we talked about was 645. And I wanted to follow up regarding kind of some next steps as it relates to last week's call. So some of you had asked for like email, what we can do from an email campaign type thing for 645. What can we do? Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Just following up from last week's meeting, as you're jumping on. So we've already met with our social teams to see what we can do in terms of 645 stories, just some assets that we can provide all of you to help promote 645. Okay. So that is something that we're working on. I just want you to know it doesn't go on deaf ears. We are working on that. Christina, welcome, girlfriend. And listen, your feedback, I want you all to know, like, we listen and we hear your feedback. I know, Christina, you had asked about the 645 commitment. Is there an opportunity to extend that, right? So we are working on potentially extending that into September. We're working on that. So more news to come on that. Hello, Nicole. And then one other feedback that I wanted to give you guys, just some follow-up. Hi, everyone. I am recording this. So welcome. I should have waited a couple minutes before we started. That's okay. And then the last thing that we talked about last week was the success starter test groups. A lot of you had feedback. Do you remember? For those of you that are kind of just jumping on, you had feedback to say, hey, can we make some changes to the success starter test group? Can we make it where they have to be diamond and they have to hold for 6 weeks, right? Like, can we do some things? Just so that you know, we cannot change anything between now and the end of the year. Okay. So here's why, because that information and it's already baked. But what we can do is we are actively, and for those just joining, we are talking about success starter test groups. We are actively exploring our options for how we could potentially change that for next year. Okay. Because some of you had feedback on that. So we are looking at success starter test groups. As it relates to success starter test groups, I want to let you know, some of you have asked, okay, so what's going on with the next test group, et cetera. So here's what you need to know is job 1 is going to be the next success starter test group. Okay. So all coaches that achieve success starter April through the end of August will be invited to job 1. Okay. April through August. All invites will go out September 7th. The groups will start in October-ish. Okay. So they will be notified. All the success starter test groups will be notified in September. Again, the dates, don't quote me here, but around September the 7th, the group will start in October. Okay. So that's for success starter test groups. And again, we can't change anything in terms of, moving forward or in terms of success starter test groups now, but we are looking to change how we potentially go about success starters for 2022. Okay. Any questions on any of those 3 things just covered from last week? Hi, everyone. Yes.
Wendy, for the future, how about people like me? I've been in Success Club 97 months. I've never been in a test group.
You've never been in?
I've never been in a test group.
Okay. You know what? Okay. Can you all do me a massive favor? Seriously. Okay. Listen. Okay. Here's what I need you to do. I need all of you do me a favor. I promise me this, because as we look at all of our leaders and we don't have a system, which is ridiculous. I'll be the first to admit that we don't have something that says, okay, here's Jeanette. Here's the program that she did. Here's the test group, or we don't have anything that says no, that you haven't been a part. So here's what I'm going to ask all of you. If you have not,
Tell me to chill.
Oh, Chelsea, here. I'm going to mute her. Sorry, Chelsea. Bye-bye. No. Okay. So if you have not been in a test group, do me a favor, individually, just private message me. Oh my God, my phone's going to blow up now, I'm sure. But message me and let me know if you've not been in a test group, and I will make sure you're fine. You're fine, Chelsea. You're just so cute. Message me and I will make sure that you are a part of one. Does that sound fair? Because we want to make sure that you are part of one, to your point, Jeanette. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, so that's really recapping from last week's call. Okay, let's get into today's topic. But before we do that, I want to share something. So there was a CAB meeting last Friday. And the CAB meeting obviously was all the CAB members, in addition to Carl, Michael, like our senior executives. Now, and I want to share this with you because you all, it's probably resonating with you as well, is, you love all of the things, all these exciting things that are coming up. Ashley, wake up, girlfriend, wake up. I'm just kidding. I love you, girl. I love you, girl. Okay. So listen, the CAB meeting last Friday, in essence, everyone, I know all of you are jazzed. There's so much going on, right? Like a lot of good stuff. However, with that being said, there is also so much good stuff. And it is like, where do I focus? Would you all agree? Like, how do I, review this with my team? What are the priorities? All of that. So here's what we're looking to do. We are looking, believe it or not, to simplify. We are looking to simplify some of the things, the promotions that we're providing all of you. Okay. So we are looking to do that. Basically, it's like, what is the primary message that you all need? So here's what I would say for this week and this week alone. There's really three key things. The first one, what's the first one? Feel free to unmute yourself. Like we're all talking. Like, what's the number one? Preferred customer. And I would say, don't freak out about preferred customer. Okay. There's going to be some additional training on the Champs page on Thursday. All right. I also sent you, or at least on my thread, it was a one pager on EV, TV, all of that. You should have that. If you don't have that, let me know. Print that bad boy out. Okay. So we've got obviously the preferred customer launch coming up this week. Also, I would just focus 1 week at a time until we can do our due diligence in terms of simplifying things for all of you. The other thing is the body beta launch. That's on Friday as well. I'm not checking my chats. Do I need to be checking my chats? Oh, love job one. Okay. All right. Perfect. Feel free to unmute yourself because it's hard to manage the chat and all of this. And then, okay, so we've got the body beta launch on Friday. You've got the PC program, and this is more of an FYI, but the summit workouts will be available on Friday as well. That's it this week. Those three things. All right. So I would just say in terms of focus areas, it's those three things. Now we are working on getting all of you kind of a one page, because there is so much. We're working on getting all of you a one pager on, okay, so how do you disseminate? How do you push this to your teams, right? We are working on that. As soon as we get that, you all will be the first to have that. All right. I actually met with our marketing team this morning, and it is a huge, huge priority for them to give you the tools that you need to share this with your teams. We need to do a better job of that. Estimate a day. So Amy, great question. She said, okay, so here's the dealio. And I'm going to be very real with all of you. She's like, well, it's 3 pages. I'm like, well, let's get it down to 1. Can we get it down to 1? That's all I want. You need 1 page. So she said she's working on it. So they're in the process of consolidating it. She's going to send it to me. I can send you all this 3 pager if you want, or you can wait. I would say by end of week, you will have it for sure, to answer your question. Just a 1 pager so that you can disseminate this information with your teams. Is that fair? Okay. Now let's talk. And this is really an opportunity for all of you, again, to mastermind, to learn from each other. The topic for today, because I know there's a lot of questions about, you've got some diamond push groups, you've got a lot of groups that are going on, really to set yourself up for elite, et cetera, for this year. Let's talk about retreats. Let's start there. We can morph it into whatever we want to morph it into. But with that being said, question for all of you, getting diamonds. That is like the most of you are struggling, obviously, I want to hear from some of you on what is your strategy on advancing some of your lifetime diamonds to 1 stars, getting those fallen diamonds, back to diamond. How are you popping new ones? Let's start there if we could, because I know a lot of you, and then we could talk about working coaches and all of that, because I know that's a huge, huge pain point as well. But how many of you are in the process of planning a retreat right now, or have already planned a retreat? Okay, just so I can see. Okay, so for those of you that have your hand up, do me a favor. You had one in May. Okay, awesome. So if you would, now this is the time I'm going to open it up to all of you and say, okay, so what does that look like? What does your qualification look like? Or what did it look like in order for them to achieve? Okay, open it up. You don't have to put it in the chat. We've got a small enough group here. We can just talk about it.
I'll go.
Okay.
So I have one, I normally do one in like January timeframe. And I did one this past January, which was amazing. And all they had to do was basically just get to diamond and have Success Club like 3 months in a row. This year I'm changing it up to where it's anybody who's on the road to elite, from team builder to elite, where they get to go, and depending on what level they hit is how many days they can stay. So like the elite people will come in prior to, like 2 days prior. Premier will be like 1 day prior. And I might have like a special dinner or some type of activity just for them. And then everybody else, then team builder and team leader, then will come in. And it just really helps too, especially because the first level team builder is diamond. It just reiterates, hey, you need to get to diamond. You need to be building a stable business. So for me, it's just all about the road to elite and really getting them used to seeing that and to, going for it.
Okay.
I love that. And if anybody is in a rebuild phase, which I am, I have 6 diamonds that will be there, but they are the same rank that they were last year. So I still love a girls' weekend. It's so important to get that time. So typically our retreats are Wednesday through Friday is just for the diamonds. And then Friday through Sunday is like a team retreat, and we get a hotel block. Anybody can come. So it's like a summit. We do some stuff there. So it's also nice that anybody can pay and come. But since nobody rank advanced and didn't really earn it, I nixed the professional photographer, and they were all fine with that. I'm like, we'll take photos with their phone, but like, I just am not going to like divvy out a ton of money when we're all kind of the same place we were last year, and they're all fine with that. Instead of I'm paying for the house, and then we're all splitting like groceries and stuff like that. So it's really more of just a girls trip, because they all themselves know I didn't really earn it, but next year we're going to be back to you earned this photo shoot and things like that. So if you're just really wanting to get your tribe together, because that momentum, no matter if they haven't rank advanced, and I love the team builder and stuff like that too. That's really great. I love that, sharing that. Thank you. But if you don't have anybody, sometimes that spirit of being together is just as important.
Yeah. Yeah. April, thank you. Okay. So Alicia, you mentioned the road to elite. April, obviously, and I know, Ashley, you mentioned you're doing something very similar as well with your team, correct? Yeah.
My people literally just have to hit diamond. I'm at that point where I'm like, just get to diamond. We've done retreats. I mean, I've been here for 9 years. So we've done retreats before. We haven't done them in the past 3 or 4 years because nobody earned them. So now I'm just like, okay. At the time that I did the retreats, we had our most growth for a variety of reasons. So I just said, there's only going to be 5 of you because it's a small house on the water. Just get to diamond. And if we have more than 5, then it will be whoever had the most leadership points. So that's how we're doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, we do something similar in the respect that we don't open it up to the entire downline. I do put a bare bones minimum that you have to be an emerald, but the first several days of the retreat are diamond only, so it's earned. And that's when all of the I'm trying to create FOMO in those first 3 days. Like, first of all, I want to shower my diamonds with love, right? Because there's a lot of reasons to, but I also want the emeralds to see that that's where I want to be. You know what I mean? So I'm twofold, spoiling my diamonds while also giving the emeralds a ton of FOMO, and then giving them a nominal fee to come to the final day, which is an emerald, we call it our emerald day. And then the emeralds and the diamonds are there together, and they kind of get the feel of the retreat in the day, and they'll usually spend that last night, but they do have to pay for it. And the concept is like, for me, making emerald a baseline, is just like, I have a no excuses kind of attitude. And so I feel like if you want to be a freaking emerald by 3 o'clock this afternoon, you can go ahead and do that. So that's what we have always done.
Yeah. So Ashley, question for you. They have to be, okay. They have to be current diamonds, not lifetime, right?
Yeah. They have to be current. Oh my gosh. If there's lifetime diamonds, half my team would be there.
Yeah.
No, they have to be current diamonds. And they have to have held that. I mean, so here's the thing, there's a qualification date, right?
Yep.
So if someone falls from diamond after the qualification date, which is usually 6 weeks or so, a month before the retreat, then I'm not going to tell them they can't come because they held for the qualification period. But I wouldn't invite back a diamond that fell last year and hasn't done anything since.
Yep. Just wanted to confirm. There was a question that was asked in the chat, so I just wanted to confirm that. No, you're good. You're good. Thank you. Who else? Oh, go ahead.
Just emerald retreats just at my house. Like, it doesn't have to be fancy. They came to my house. I got them a pair of Adidas shoes that were like $40. They loved it, you know? And then I had a friend that was a photographer, so she took photos from us, and we did something like, we created a third-party tool together to help our business. And then we just, you know, had a girls' weekend, and it was just at my house. It's, for me, I will every year have something, even if they, you know, it's small, no matter if you're just starting. Don't say you have to spend an arm and a leg. I think at 6 or 7 years, I've had a retreat where I didn't always have the to do it big. It's not about like doing it like Lindsay Matt way. It's about getting your people together, and they'll want to earn it every year.
Yeah, I think that, April, that's a valid point. I know Amy, you mentioned in here in the chat too. She's like, well, I don't have a big team, right? Like, you know, you don't have to have a big team. This is just a reason to get people together that haven't been together for God knows how long, right? And to really create that synergy, that community with one another. So I don't feel like it has to be something massive, to April's point, on a large scale, because it doesn't. It can be whatever you want it to be. Okay. Perfect. Who else? Anyone else want to share kind of what they're doing or what they've done that's worked?
I can share something a little different that we're doing this year for ours. So I've had 2 retreats. I did one in January of 2020, and then I did one in February of this year. Mm-hmm. Something that always happens, and I feel like a lot of people can relate, is like people qualify like early in the year, right? And then like by the time the retreat comes, they're like fall in rank or something like that. So what I always end up doing usually by the end of it is I usually end up inviting like 2 or 3 coaches who are like working their butt off and like necessarily haven't hit the qualifications yet, but like they deserve to be there. It always pays off. And then like the fire and stuff like that. But something we're doing different for this year is I'm hosting one with Whitney. I know some of you guys know Whitney and my upline, and we're doing it in the fall, but something we did differently, because for me, it drives me crazy when I have people like who qualify for the retreat, don't get me wrong. And they go, but like, they're mostly people who aren't even like barely working their business anymore. And it makes me so frustrated because I'm like, what I want to come out of a retreat is like people coming together. Like I want it to be fire, mastermind, like all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want it to just be like a hangout party where people are just like, you know, having fun. And then I have a bunch of people who are working their business and like really trying, who didn't technically check all the boxes. So something we did this year is we did different qualifications based off where they were in their business, like when we came out with the qualifications. So one that I'm really excited we did was we had one column for coaches who signed up in 2021. So obviously, you know, they could hit diamond, hold for 6 weeks, and they would qualify for the retreat. But we did, if you become a 2021 success starter and have at least 8 coaches in your downline, 8 active coaches at any time, they qualify to come too. And I'm really excited because I have 2 girls who are coming who hit success starter. And it just makes me excited because like, we always want like new blood there too. You know, like I feel like it's not really helpful if your retreat is always the same, like same people, you know what I mean? Like you need that excitement. So that's something that we did, was add in like a certain column for like, if you're a coach who signed up in 2021, because obviously if someone signs up in like March or April and they have to hit the quals by like September, can they hit diamond? Absolutely. But it's like a little bit harder for them.
No, I love that. I love the adding that component of success starter for sure. Okay, hold on. I'm just reading through some of this. All right, way to girl chain. Yep. Okay. Okay. So what about, okay, so those, Julie, do you have something?
Yeah, I haven't ran a retreat in a couple of years, but something that I used to do is I would rent a catamaran. I used to live in Buffalo, New York, and we ride on the water. So I would rent a catamaran for everybody who was an Emerald and hit Success Club. And I think I did like 2 months in a row. And then the next month was the catamaran trip. So that was always really great, especially to get coaches pushing over the summer. And I had a pretty large local coach group, so that helped.
Okay. What about some memorable things that you've done at your retreats that your team truly just, they loved?
I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
I've hosted a couple of retreats recently. Something I always do is I ask the spouse and a best friend or a downline or an upline to make a 30 second to 2 minute video. And sorry, my children are with the sitter, but one's crying. Hopefully
You're good. All good.
And then they slice them all together. It ends up being like 30 minutes total, but we watch it after a couple glasses of wine on night one. And it just it just reminds everyone that like, even if your spouse is like a little bit unsupportive or kind of dry, like just 20 seconds of them saying that I'm proud of you is just like the most amazing thing that a mom or wife needs to hear. So yeah, I've done that several times and they love it. And like, if my girls earned the next retreat and I've already asked their husbands, I'll ask their like best friend or their mom or something. Cause then they're not expecting it. And then it's like, oh my gosh, you got her to make a video. So yeah, it's been really good and everyone really likes it. I got the idea from Katie Crum. So that was not
No, Brittany, thank you. Okay. So question for you, a couple of questions that just popped in. Any tips on how to keep track of all of that, all of those videos that you're getting or whatnot? How are you doing that?
Yeah. So I did just a Google sheet and I had the attendees and then I had like a spouse line and then a +1 line. So like their spouse or boyfriend or whatever was like number one priority. And then if I could get one more, it was like a challenger or a best friend that isn't even involved in Beachbody. Then it's like really cool because they're getting to see a little bit like, oh, wow, you're doing that for her. That's so freaking cool. So like that's been really powerful.
Yeah.
I would love to actually piggyback off of that because I have an additional tip to share, but also something to share that I got an idea from Brittany on. So it's sort of perfect that I'm coming after you, Britt. I did the same video montage also. We kept the clip shorter. So I asked for 15 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
And it was really powerful because some of the women at my retreat, well, everyone was bawling, but like some of the women said, I've never heard my husband tell me he's proud of me as a coach or that he loves what I do. And so it was super powerful. What I did was create the video montage in Video Shop. So the second I put a photo of each one of the coaches that were attending the retreat in a Video Shop video. And each time one of their spouses or family members or friends sent me a clip, I immediately saved it to my phone and put it right after their face. So when all was said and done, the night before I was presenting it, I just laid in bed at the retreat house and clipped the videos so they kind of like flowed really smoothly. So that was my tip for keeping it organized. One thing we did that was really powerful, which I actually piggybacked off of an idea from Brittany because her retreat was right before mine. She did Rachel Hollis, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, like a You're Not Alone type thing. And so it was a checklist of things that people have experienced, traumas, bad things, like they have anxiety, they struggle with depression, they are in a broken marriage, they struggle with finances. And so I did that, except I tweaked the list to be all about coaching. I feel like so often our new coaches, and even us as, you know, coaches that have been around for a long time, we feel really freaking alone. Like, I'm the only one that dropped rank. I'm the only one that doesn't have runners. I'm the only one that can't get, you know, the bonus this quarter. And it feels really alone, which is why I love these masterminds. But I did that with my team where, like, I feel like I don't have enough followers. I feel like I'm struggling to gain my rank back. I feel like, I have a hard time finding social media ideas. And so it was basically all of these things that were in relation to coaching or being a coach or Beachbody, workouts, nutrition, just to basically allow them to see how not alone they are. We went down the list out loud. And if anybody had one of those things or had experienced one of those things, they stood up. And so sometimes on some of them, you know, 2 or 3 girls would stand up, and other times every one of us would stand up. And it was really, I think, one of the most powerful things that we did at our retreat. Thanks, Britt, for the idea.
Yeah. I mean, Ashley, Britt, I mean, you got girls, look at all the chat is freaking blowing up right now. Oh my God. I'm moving and multitasking through all my, you know what, away. My kids are gone. Okay. All right. So let's just recap. So Ashley, would you be willing to share that list first of all?
Yes. Yeah. I'll pull it out of Canva.
Coolio. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is really helpful. I think for a lot of you that are nodding is like, yes, this is awesome. A lot of you, it sounds like you have some sort of activity already, a part of your retreats. Is there anyone else? Ashley, Brittany, thank you for sharing those. I think those that have not done it, what a great opportunity for you to incorporate this. Anyone else that's doing anything? Hold on. I want to make sure if there's,
One thing that we did was we built bikes. So we had like 30 people at the retreat, and I broke them into teams to work together to build bikes that we ended up donating to like a local Boys and Girls Club. I forget what kind of place it was, but they had to work together as a team to get it built. And then the people from the organization came and picked them up at the house that we were at. So they loved that. And it was nice to see them working together, even with people that they might not have meshed well with prior. They were kind of forced teamwork a little bit, but it was for a good cause. So they enjoyed that.
That's awesome. You know, I haven't heard that actually, believe it or not. And I know you all probably do some kind of version of this, but I haven't actually heard someone really talk about like giving back. And I know you all probably do a little part of that. What was the name of the company again, Melissa?
It was like a local Boys and Girls Club. I just bought bikes at Walmart and then they built them, and it really would depend on where you're having your retreat. You could just look up a place nearby.
Okay. So good. So good, Melissa. Thank you. All right, Larissa, you're up, girlfriend.
Yeah, we did 2. So we actually did these at my summit event. So this doesn't have to be a retreat. It could literally be like any sort of team event. I actually did a local one time with like local coaches when I lived in Delaware. So the first one is that we did at summit was we did a hot seat. I actually got the idea for my book. The author talked about how she would like go to a church retreat and nobody knew each other and they would do a hot seat to get to know each other. So I just Googled a bunch of like random questions and printed out some copies because I think it's hard to come up with questions to ask people. So it was good for people to have like a template, and everyone would have 5 minutes in the chair. And then we'd go around and just ask them questions about themselves, like personal questions, like how'd you meet your spouse? How'd you meet your coach? What are your coaching goals? Like, what are things that you're afraid of? Like, what's your favorite food? Like just stuff like that. And it was really good because everyone got to know each other because everyone was super awkward and didn't know each other in the beginning. And then this one is one of my favorites that I've done a couple times at events in my team is I get, you could just get like colored greeting cards and I cut them and we take a night and everybody gets 30 of these colored cards and we do like DIY affirmation cards. So we just basically sit around and everyone like makes their own affirmation cards. And you make 30 of them. Oh, my kids are coming down here. Hold on, guys. Hi, baby. And then hold on. Okay. Just give me like, yeah, you can get a snack. Just give me like a second. Okay. And then at the end of it, we mix them all up. Everyone writes their name on the back of them. And then we mix them all up and everybody grabs 30 random ones. So then everyone goes home with 30 random affirmation cards built from the team. And then you like, it's nice because you get to pull a card and then it's a positive affirmation. You get to see who on the team wrote that. And it's just a really, really fun thing.
That's awesome, Larissa. And I love the visual too. That's good. Okay, Brittany, you're up.
I have one more and I'll be quick.
Yeah. Oh my God.
My
Go,
high school physics teacher actually did this, and I just saw one of my friends do it at her summit event. Morgan Butler is the one that did it. At the end of the weekend, after you've spent all weekend together, because most of them are coming in not knowing anyone else, or, you know, first in-person event since they've been a coach, you write down a piece of paper. So like Chelsea's name's at the top, and everyone writes something amazing about Chelsea. So Chelsea goes home with all of these great things about her. Or you can do it digitally, which is what my physics teacher did. So it was no handwriting or anything. We just what she did essentially is like had the whole roster of the class, and then you write something nice about the person. And then she compiled all of Chelsea's, all of Kristen's, all of Samantha's together. And so you come home with this document of like 15 nice things about you that like you might not think about yourself, or how that person perceived you over the weekend. So that was a really cool one too.
Yeah. Powerful for sure. Thank you for sharing, Brittany. Okay. I was just so Kim, where are you? There you are. Kim, tell me about that. I don't know what telestration. I'm not familiar with that. Kim, are you there? Uh-oh. Okay, maybe not. Going once, Kim. Going twice. Okay, Brittany, it's a game? Do you know anything about that? I've never heard of this. Has anyone ever heard of this?
Okay, wait, I'm here. I literally dove in the shower and I'm like, fastest shower I've ever taken in my whole life. Okay, I'm here. It is a game. And so basically it's like, I can't be on video right now.
You're fine. You're fine. Please don't.
Like the game of telephone, but Pictionary. So I'm out of breath from my shower. You draw, so you pick a card, and like, let's say it's very not PG. So let's give a PG version. Like you pick something that says tying your shoe, and then the person draws a picture of somebody tying their shoe, and they pass the book to the person to their left, and that person has to write what they think the picture's of. So the person might be like shoelaces, and then they write shoelaces, pass the book to the left. Next person draws shoelaces, so on and so forth. So it is like the funnest game ever. And we did that as like an icebreaker. And we've never laughed so hard. We realized a lot of us are horrible drawers, but we did that every single night. Like we went back to it every night, and we played it for like an hour and a half, and it was everything.
Okay. I have never heard of that. Okay, thanks.
I'm gonna go finish my shower.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. You go, girl. I mean, oh, I love it.
I'm sorry, I keep talking. One other thing that was so powerful was, so have 6 you write down 5 things that you tell yourself that are really mean, like negative, terrible things that you typically tell yourself. So if there's 6 people, they're going to write 5 of them. You don't tell them what they are doing, but then after they do it, we're all done. Everyone stands up in a line, and you're like, okay, you're going to write out, you're going to read one of those things and look this person in the eye and say that to him, say that to her. And then you go to the next person, you say that, and you're literally crying, looking at them, saying, imagining how terrible it feels telling somebody you're not a good enough mother, when you're looking at somebody else and telling them those things that you tell yourself. So we're all crying. That also goes into the fire, along with we do limiting beliefs. But that was so big because they don't know what they're doing or why they're writing it. But then looking somebody in the eye and telling it, it was like a big wake up call. Like, if you don't want to say that to your daughter, don't say it to yourself, kind of thing.
Ooh, awesome. That's so good.
So at
April,
some of our retreats, we're very much into like the activities and getting out and just kind of making a fool of each other. It's always so much fun. But so some things that we've done is like the zip lining in the trees. So it was in New Jersey, and we did a Shaun T event, but we also did zip lining, which was so much fun. But it has like all the obstacle courses and stuff in the trees, which is a great way too, to be able to, one, realize how many fears that people have of heights, or of unstable, things. And so having that teamwork of getting everybody through to the other side was really good. As well as we've done scavenger hunts. When we went to Mexico, we did a scavenger hunt, and that was so much fun because for one, you have to get uncomfortable. You had to talk to strangers. You had to take pictures, maybe like doing an act of service for somebody. So we had so much fun doing that. Plus we posted it with the hashtag for the retreat. So that way the team could see it and they're like, oh my goodness, we need to be there. So it creates that little sense of like wanting to be there as well for the next one. And then we also did one where everybody put into a hat like one thing about them that nobody else would know. And then we had to guess who that person was that wrote that. And it created a lot of like, amazing stories for one, and you just don't know that much about some people. But then there's just so much that you can learn from other people. So but I'm like an Enneagram 3, so I love activities and I love like hands-on stuff. When you get into like the emotions and all that stuff, I'm just like, not for me. So it's more of like, I love to do like more outdoorsy type stuff and getting active or going hiking. We did corporate in Utah one time. That was a lot of fun. So I highly recommend that, just to be able to see that. And I got to see the prize closet when there once was a prize closet from the National Wicket Calls.
Listen, there still is. It's just a little old.
It's so cool though. It's really cool to see all of that and to meet all the corporate mentors as well in that space. It was just amazing. So I definitely recommend Utah.
Awesome. Thank you. No, it's so good. Okay. So you mentioned a good point, right? Like everyone's personality is different in terms of what you need out of all of these retreats. Some are more emotional, right? That emotional connection. Some of them are, let's just go have fun. Let's do some team building activities. How do you balance those two?
So I'm also not the emotional person. So one of the things that we did is we do love notes. And so the very first day you take an envelope, you put your name on it, you can decorate it. We had stickers and markers and we put it on a big mirror or a wall. And throughout the retreat, you can leave other people little love notes and just saying what you appreciate, saying thank you, saying anything about them. Even if they do something nice during that trip, you can put it on there. And then the coaches aren't allowed to open them until they leave. So they can open them on their way home. They can open them once they get there. So I think that helps hit on that. And then we also did something, it was my ex-husband's idea. It was the most fun thing we did. We drew names and you had to draw the person's name that you drew and then guess who everybody had drawn. And we were crying, laughing, doing that. It was so fun.
Awesome. Julie, thank you. Any other questions about like retreats that you guys want to know about? Obviously we talked about activities, we talked about criteria, anything about speakers, or how are you leaving there? What are some things that you're doing to just really energize them? Larissa, to your point, to create that fire afterwards where they want to go push for that next, whatever that is for them. How are you doing that? Oh, Jamie, no serious things. Okay. So Jamie, will you just briefly just touch on that? Where are you? I'm trying to find you.
I have glasses now, so you probably don't recognize.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, there you are.
So I am also active. I'm an Enneagram 2 wing 3. So it's all about like the heart with the fun. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like the serious stuff, we always create that space to begin with. Like we create that container, right? And so we set group agreements. We ask for what we're wanting. We were like put clearly out everyone, like what they're hoping to get, what they're needing to get from that weekend and that experience so that I know what the expectations are. Cause so they also know what my expectation is as well. But we will close with kind of more of the heavy stuff, but like the Stand Up for Your Sister, I think was an activity from Rachel Hollis that I stole and kind of personalized to our business and our team. And I can send the PDF, the Canva from that. And we have created our like mission statement, our team mission statement. And then who is this that Rachel Johnstone talked about, like our core beliefs as for our customers and our core beliefs for our coaches. And so we worked on that at the summit retreat. We always do some sort of a closing circle where everyone has something to share and say to someone else, or we'll do like the spider web activity if we don't have a lot of time, where we'll have like a piece of string and then you'll pass it to someone, and like there's some prompts, and I gave a couple examples, but you wouldn't go to the same person twice. And so at the end we have this big spider web of yarn. Or using a lot of like, crunchy things. Like I will collect a bunch of gemstones and I'll like share what each of them what healing energies they have. And then I'll pick one and then we'll channel kind of some of that love and energy into that. And so like one of my favorite ones where we're just kind of like all a hot mess was like, you picked your stone you wanted, and then it went around the circle and everyone was holding it as they kind of gave you your affirmations and what they were sending, what love and hope they are giving to you, and like putting it into that gemstone. And we did star charts once. A friend of mine does like astrology. A friend of mine's a leadership coach, and so she did that. We did the Brene Brown's Dare to Lead certification. That was our retreat one weekend at 1 year. Well, I guess that was just last year, January of 2020, before the world changed. But so try to like really do some deeper leadership development. But the Dare to Lead cert was my absolute. That was like, I paid, that was a lot of money. That was kind of like a 15-star prize that we all celebrated together with. And then some things we did at Summit, because we were just at a cabin in the woods. And so it wasn't like a traditional summit, but we did like, we did a talent show. I created my own Team Olympics, kind of modeled after what we do at leadership with the team building, but everyone just drove, since we were all driving, everyone brought their yard games. And then the cabin we rented had like a pool and air hockey and some fun things, but we did like cornhole, giant Jenga, like this big yard bowling, like yard golf. And like, we created teams. And then everyone got really competitive, and that was super fun. And then to participate in the talent show helped your team get Olympic points, and everyone participated and came up with the funniest talents. And that was hilarious. And then my favorite was instead of tie-dyeing clothes, we all brought water guns, and we put tie-dye into the water guns, and we had a massive tie-dye water gun fight with white outfits. And so that was really great for photos and just silliness. It wasn't like a traditional summit, but it was more like a family reunion kind of thing. And then we've done like hikes and paddleboarding and, just workout classes, things like that. But we also did our own version of Nailed It, which is a cooking competition on Netflix, like a bad cooking, like cooking show, but it was one of our newer leaders' birthdays. And so we decided to have like 4 teams take turns in the kitchen, and they created what they thought would be Cece's like dream birthday cake. And each leader had other newer coaches from other teams on our bigger team. And so they had to come up with like a cooking creation, and they each had 2 hours in the kitchen. And then we all presented, and Cece had to like pick her birthday, and then we just had dessert for dinner on our last night, and it was awesome and totally like on brand with my team, and had some really delicious food, like desserts. So, and that one was everyone's absolute favorite. They were like, that was so fun, and they had to strategize, and Cece gave them like just a few things, like things that she would like or not like, and they had to kind of come up with their own creations. So anyways, those were some of those. The tie-dye water gun was so fun. We were going to do photo shoots afterwards, and that kind of got vetoed because we were all stained in blue and purple and pink all over our bodies. But it was its own version of a photo shoot with our very colorful skin. But it was a blast.
Yeah, sounds so much fun. Okay, you just said a lot of things in there, and she put it in the chat, and obviously we're recording this. So Jamie, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Tons of activities that you all have posted. Okay. So we talked about activities. What about gifts? Do you guys do any gifts? Like what kind of gifts do you do? Let's talk about that. And don't feel, if you haven't done it, that's okay too. Like no pressure, right? I just want you just to brainstorm some different ideas. If you're doing gifts, who's doing gifts, and what are some things that you're doing? Yep, go for it.
I can share a couple of mine. So first of all, like I have a lot of people who are introverts on my team. And so when you come together and you don't know anybody, I had one of my girls is a teacher. She's very outgoing. She's kind of like a Doug planner. But she said right when we got there, she wanted, the first night we did icebreakers. And so I just wanted to mention this because it's like all the fun games. but we have never laughed so hard. And this really is what opened everybody up and kind of let their walls down, is that she did a toilet paper game. And she brought like a little 6-pack of toilet paper, nobody really knew what it was. And then a thing of wipes. And basically you had to pretend you're pulling the toilet paper to wipe your butt. And she wanted to know, how did you do it? Did you fold it up? Did you crumple it up? Do you use 2 papers? Do you use 2 hands, like 2 fistfuls? But it literally had people crying, and it just immediately let the walls down to then be able to open up, to talk and to share and to do everything else. And that's probably, of all the retreats, of all the games, like that, we laughed and connected the most. And then people talked about it afterwards, and just kind of remembering the person, and it became a big joke. But it's so silly, but it was fun. And then another one that we really liked, it was a trainer impersonator game. So you had to get in groups of, like, it just depends on how many you have. We had 3 people on each team, and one person was assigned to, you had to impersonate a trainer. And it was really cool because a lot of people hadn't worked with all the trainers, but you had to guess who it was. And everybody that did it was spot on, but it kind of also made them be like, okay, maybe I need to go try that program. Maybe I need to go do that workout. Maybe I need to learn about that trainer because that was so funny. So we had a lot of fun doing that. So as far as gifts, I am a super big gift giver. Like, it's just my love language. And I always try to make like themes and things about it. And this last year I bought, it was like an Instagram ad, but I was like, oh my God, it's perfect. It's a bracelet stamper. So kind of like we had at Summit, but it's one of those, has the little ring around it, and it comes with the stamper on it so that you can put metal, stamp your word into metal. And then you would wear that, whatever that thing is that you want to focus on, like your word of the year, but you wear that bracelet until you really kind of feel like you're good getting into that piece of yourself. And so they really liked that. And it was kind of like a reminder, walk away, they could put a goal, the word, or whatever. But it was just something fun to keep. And then, we always do like clothes and t-shirts and just little things, but I had something else I was going to share and I forgot, but I'll find the link for the stamper thing, but.
Just so I feel like I'm contributing, I just actually got team towels for Summit. If you go to Highway 3 on Instagram, they are so easy to work with. They were the nicest people. They will totally do a group rate. They have these gorgeous towels and blankets. I only ordered one because I was like, I have to make sure I love this thing. It was so pretty. So I ordered a bunch of them. So you could do like a team towel, just like you would do for a baseball team. So I just put coach, like really large, and then my team name on the bottom. And if you're going to the beach or you're doing a retreat at the beach, it is a really cool gift. And I loved the quality, so it's definitely worth it. And it's Highway 3.
Awesome. Shane, thank you. Okay.
I did something really different this year that I had never done before. And I'm not really like a DIY person. I'm just not. But I really love essential oils. I love like natural remedies and everything like that. And so I actually purchased roller bottles and little like 30 ml spray bottles, and then researched benefits of certain oils and created custom blends of a spray and a roller to match our team name. So our team name is Hustle and Hope. So I created a spray that was like an energizing, motivating, really awesome spray, and then a roller that's like calming and hope. And I had pre-printed a bunch of stickers so we could like stamp them. So they got a spray and a roller that matched our team name. And then I also found these really pretty necklaces on Instagram, not on Instagram, on Amazon. And they are just a very simple chain with a tiny little outline of a mountain range. And the concept behind it, I had these cards printed that says, you were made to move mountains, and basically just gave the girls a talk when I gave them their gifts that, like we all have these hard things that we're facing right now, but you can do it. And they're like $8 necklaces. And between just like making up all of those sprays and the necklaces, they loved them. Those were 2 kind of like really simple things that worked for us this year.
Okay. What do you mean you're not DIY? That's pretty, I mean, I'm impressed, Ashley. I'm not either. We need a Google sheet for all of these great ideas. Okay. I love it. Okay. Ashley, thank you. Okay. Jamie, thank you for sending that. Holly, where's Holly? Holly, anything else to add? Yeah. Oh, there you are. She's like, I'm right here. Okay, girlfriend.
That was the main thing. And then like on day one, when they first arrived, I had like, all their just healthy snacks and things, things you don't think about when you get to the hotel and you're like, oh my gosh, I need water bottles. We just like put a ton of stuff in there and little snacks and some stuff for the workouts. So packets of Energize and Recover and stuff, just in case they forgot anything at home, nuts and bars and just things so they can have it in the room. Yeah. And then I also had a bunch of push journals, Shalene's push journals that she had given me, thank goodness. And so the last day, the final day, I gave them each a 3-pack of that. And so they were like, wow, so every day I try to have a little gift, a little something for them waiting every day. So that's what we do. That was it.
No, thank you. Okay. April, you're up, girlfriend. Where are you?
I don't think.
Oh, there you are.
I don't think I had anything. I was just saying, if somebody is on their computer can save this chat, that'd be so helpful because there's such good nuggets in here. Thank you guys for sharing.
Oh, I have one that's a before the retreat gift that my team really, really liked for our last one. So I made just on Canva, like an actual invitation for the retreat that had like their name on it and the date and like all that kind of stuff and said, you're invited. And I sent that in the mail and I ordered luggage tags with their name on them. And it had like a diamond for all the ones who were diamond. It had like a little diamond on it. And I sent that package to them a couple weeks before the retreat. So they had like a personalized luggage tag and like an actual invite for the retreat. And that was something that they really, really liked.
That's awesome. Love that.
One more thing I forgot. Because we did virtual summit and there was a lot of girls that had never even been to a single event. This is mine. This is the one I kept. We made little like a summit wall for them and it had whatever their rank was, whatever their team name was, and anything they had been recognized for. When we were filling the form out, I just asked all these questions. So they had no idea. And so then I just went and had them printed it like the FedEx Kinkos and hung it on the wall. And some of them cried, like seeing themselves on the wall for the first time, even if they weren't like being recognized for anything huge. I just even had one that was a brand new coach. She'd only been a coach for 3 weeks and decided to sign up and come. Like it just said, I think it just put newest coach award or something. But they loved that because they wanted to take it home. And they all said that they were going to put elite on the recognition so they could look at it every day on their wall to know what they were working for.
I did that once. You know how a few years ago we had huge photos of us set for elite, like our head was massive. And, it was such a wow thing. So I did just that. I asked them for a really clean headshot. And when they walked in, I had all of them lined up. They weren't as big. They were like 3 feet. So I just went to like a printing company and it had their, diamond rank. And it was really pretty cheap and very striking. And they were blown away because of the wow factor of having their face blown up like we do. So that's pretty easy to do.
Awesome.
One other super simple thing, and I'm sure you guys probably do, but if you just make an itinerary, I've got writing all over it because I'm planning for this year. Yeah. I just put it in Canva, and then on the back I have the menu. So that's super simple, and then it has times for everything. Saturday mornings we have a pretty big faith-based team. So I have 2 girls in the morning. They run a building a faith-based business, and then anyone that's not running their business like that, because we have a very diverse group. So my sister, she talks about mindset and she does a separate thing. So nice to kind of incorporate that. And then the one other thing, if you have somebody that's coming, you're not doing a professional photo shoot, when we have, so like I said, is Summit at the Lake, so anyone can come and pay. And we just set aside like 2 hours to get ready after team building exercises. And then we just take pictures for each other. We broke up into little small groups and we took pictures for them to use for their marketing for the rest of the year. And they loved that because there's somebody else saying, pose like this, do this, where there's so many new coaches, they've like no idea. And you can do anything like with portrait photo and things like that.
Awesome. April, thank you. Okay. Was this helpful? I mean, all of you just sharing what great ideas that you all have. I did save the chat, so we have that. So I've saved that. I've also, we're recording this so we can refer back to it if we need to as well. And I'll make sure I post that in the thread. Anything else as relates to retreats or any other questions that you all have?
I know we're like out of time for this call, but I would love, like, if people want to share it, like in the Facebook chat or something, if anybody's ever had like any really standout or amazing speakers for your retreat. I feel like that's where I always kind of struggle, whether it's like another coach or whether it's like, I know some people have like Enneagram coaches sometimes speak to their team. So any recommendations for speakers, I think would be really helpful.
Why don't we do this? If you do have recommendations, if any of you have recommendations, just post that in the thread. How does that sound? Because I know there's there's a couple different threads that are going on right here with the West and the East region. So just put that in the thread and we can just share that. Okay. I can't believe we're out of time. Lots of stuff obviously going on. Thanks to all of you, number one, for being on the call, especially, I know kiddos are getting ready to go back to school. Thank the Lord. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Not really. Praise Jesus, Kimberly says. So listen, I know there's a lot going on. Thank you for being on the call. I will send all of you the recording again this week, obviously Friday, massive launch, PC launch. One other thing, and this is more of a nice to know, there's nothing that you need to do, but your coach back office, there's something called a global navigation update. In English, here's what that means. It means your back office is going to look a little different. Okay. That's it. We've just reorganized so that it's a little bit more cleaner and simpler to find things. Praise Jesus. Thank the Lord in your back office. That will happen on Friday. There's nothing that you need to do. It will be seamless, but on Friday, you will see a change in your back office. So I just want you to be aware of that. There will be a training on the Champs page as well on Thursday. Again, just kind of walking you through it. No big changes. Just again, it'll be cleaner, a little bit fresher for you to where all of the platforms are going to be integrated and the functionality between the sites will be much easier, which will be great. I know you all have been asking for that. And then next week is all around bod and body. I know there was a lot of questions about bod, the body, the beta, all of that. I think we've answered most of those questions. If you still have some, please let me know. But we will have what we call our brand leaders on the call next week, really talking all things bod and body. And last but not least, as soon as we get the one pager of how you can disseminate all of this information to your teams, as soon as we get that, I will send that out to the threads as well. PC starts Friday. Yes, Lori, I'm sorry. You probably jumped on. Yes, PC starts Friday as well. Yes. So basically what that means is, obviously you can sign up your preferred customers via share a cart starting Friday, and coaches will have an opportunity to reclassify as a PC on Friday as well. So what else? Anything else? Any purchase Nutrition Plus? Yes, PC and EV start Friday. Okay, hold on. Any purchase necessary for Friday or just Nutrition Plus? They have to have Nutrition Plus in order. Oh, everyone, are you still with me? You guys are still with me. Okay. Any purchase necessary for Friday or just Nutrition Plus? I don't understand your question, April. What do you mean?
So for the launch, you're saying Friday, they just have to have their Nutrition Plus by August 5th for it on August 6th, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then if somebody is a coach and wants to switch to PC, is that just a share a cart you send?
Share a cart.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. And I know some of you are working on like some visuals of how you're connecting with them and how you're contacting. I don't know if you have anything to share. Anyone have any kind of best practices of what you're doing with your coaches going into, please share. Oh, hold on. Lori, what are you asking to share? You're on mute.
I was just saying to share if there were visuals, because we were on the Superstar call yesterday, and like he was trying to walk through everything, and I briefly went through like with my leaders, and a lot of them are kind of freaking out, like, okay, well, you know, are we going to lose people? So I haven't posted anything in my team page, but I do want to prep people because I know I have a lot that were like business builders and then pulled back, and they're all just like super crazy confused. And so just trying to figure out how to word it to prevent.
I did a live in my team page. And I think that transparency and honesty is always the best policy. Even if it does hurt feelings, I feel like people will be more butthurt on my team if Beachbody changes their account without them knowing, or, you know, they hear about it from some other method than hearing it from me. So I've actually gone live now, I think 2 or 3 times in my team page saying, hey guys, just want to remind you that this is coming. This is what it means. I try to keep my lives literally to 3 minutes or less because they won't. So I'll say, if you have a question, drop it below so we can all get it answered. And then I specifically am reaching out to some of those people that I know are probably not paying attention and will be super pissy about it. So I'm just making sure that I make that connection. I know it's impossible when you have a massive downline, but just trying to pick and choose the people I know will be uber angry, or like the people that have been builders in the past that aren't even at this point having renewals for Success Club points coming through. So like they don't want to lose their, you know, people that are sitting around collecting 28, 50, $100 a week for doing nothing. They might get a little mad. So I'm just, that's my method, is going live in the team page, and then making sure I reach out to those few individuals.
Yeah. And just so that you know, there will be several emails that we'll be sending out, Lori, as well. I think there's 4 emails, like a series that will be sent in terms of getting those coaches to reclassify. One's like 4 weeks out, 2 weeks out, a week out, and then like, let's call it a week after, but there's going to be we've got some protocols in place. So it's not all on you, for example. We're taking the brunt of that as well. So, and again, I don't have all the details. We're still working on that. Thursday, I think we'll get a little bit more insight on that. Just stay tuned. And what I'd love to do next week, if we've got time, is have maybe one of you walk through your back office, or maybe have one of the superstars come walk through their back office. So I'm working on that too, on the whole PC, transition as well.
Can I ask a question? Is there a benefit of them, like for us to encourage them to switch to preferred customer? Is there a benefit to that? Because like some people I know, they're just going to let it just do it, and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd say no, there's not a benefit. If they're a coach, if they want to create an income, if they want referrals and whatever, for me, the coach opportunity is the best solution. I'm not going to have somebody downgrade themselves if they're a coach. There's just really, it wouldn't make sense. But I mean, if they're there purely for the discount only, that's the only time really that I would be like, sure, go ahead, downgrade to preferred customer. Because otherwise, one, if they have any customers or they have any coaches, as soon as they downgrade, they're going to lose all of them. So for them to be able to keep everyone that they've worked for, I would definitely just have them stay as a coach and just encourage them. It's one sale. Right. And Wendy, do you know if it's a certain amount of volume or if it's just one sale?
It's not any amount of volume. It's one sale. So what it is, it's a 5-week look back to see if there's a sale to a customer or a PC.
Also, make sure
the earned volume we're talking about.
Yeah. I'm talking about earning volume.
Customer reclassification.
Also, I think people don't realize that and they were really big on us making sure we don't say downgrade, that we say reclassify, because they don't want anyone to feel as though they're being lesser important. So we have to make sure that we don't use that word. They were really big on that yesterday. But once they change and reclassify to being a preferred customer, they cannot change back for 6 months. Right. So they need to also make sure, like, if they think they're going to come back or they think they're going to work it, that might not be the best option. And they said anything that just creates volume, whether it's bands, a little sample pack or something, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's like some type of volume producing item, that counts.
So they can't go back if they are reclassified as a PC, they can't go back to coach After
for 6 months.
I thought
You
he
gotta
said
wait 6 months.
switch coaches until 6 months.
Would you
They
ask?
can't
Sorry.
reclassify back to a coach for 6 months. It's almost like the same ruling as canceling their coach account, from what I understand.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and the point you said was to prevent people from, so like I have a coach that needs to get reclassified, and I'm excited because there's a diamond that I've been working with underneath her. But their point was they didn't want people to reclassify and then re-sign back up for benefits like that. When you're like, oh, I have a spouse account that's got, 3 diamonds. And so you reclassify them and then put them back in. And so their point was that they have to wait the same kind of wait period time as anybody else so that it prevents things like that happening.
Okay.
But can't we re-sign a coach if they quit? They can re-sign. They just, within 6 months under the same sponsor, they just get put at the bottom of the downline.
From my understanding, that's correct.
Yeah.
So can they still do that if they reclassified as a preferred customer and wanted to come back as a coach?
They'd have to completely cancel that and then resign, because when you go to preferred customer, you keep the same genealogy placement. So when they come back, then they still have all their volume. They just don't have all of their customers and coaches.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes
Wendy,
sense.
can that go in the FAQ? Because there's nothing in the FAQ on reclassification that they have to, once they're reclassified, they have to wait 6 months. There's nothing in there unless, the only thing is if they reclassify as a customer, then they have to wait 6 months before they can re-sign back up as a PC or coach under somebody else. So that's the only thing that's in there about that.
Okay. Yeah. I just made a note of that.
I have a document that they gave us yesterday. I'll drop it in here.
Is that the one pager, Lori?
Yeah. Is that the same one?
Yeah. So I posted that, Leisha, I posted that on the 9 to 14 star thread. I'll post it in the 5 to 8 star thread as well. It's just a one pager. I think we're talking the same one, Lori. I don't know.
I just
put it in there. Yep. I saw that. Okay. Hold on just a second. So print that out. For those of you that are still on the call, print that out. It's just a one pager, just for a handy reference as well. Okay, listen, I know we are over. Thank you. Thank you all for being on the call today. I will send out the recording, and I will see all of you next week regarding BOD, all things BOD and body. All right, everyone, have a great day.